most effective ones of all. The quiet of the mountains beckoned, and they were ready to return to the peace of their porch, where the only thing that mattered was the company of family and the simple joys of a life well lived. The gentle morning sun cast long shadows across the rolling hills that surrounded the home of the Clampett family. Jed Clampett, a man of simple habits and a heart as vast as the wilderness he once called home, stood on the porch with a look of quiet contemplation. By his side, his daughter Ellie Mae was busy tending to a small, diverse collection of animals, each one seemingly aware of the peaceful atmosphere that defined their daily life. Granny, ever the industrious soul, was meticulously cleaning the main room of their spacious house. Her hands, weathered by years of labor and wisdom, moved with a speed and precision that defied her age. She hummed a soft, melodic tune, a sound that harmonized perfectly with the chirping of the birds outside. It was a day like any other in their new surroundings, yet there was a hum of anticipation in the air. Jethro, Jed's nephew, was occupied with his own curious project. He was hunched over, working with a series of small, intricate components, trying his best to assemble a contraption he was certain would change the world. His brow was furrowed in deep concentration, his tongue poking out the corner of his mouth as he carefully aligned a delicate gear. "Uncle Jed, do you think this machine will really help the folks in the city?" Jethro asked, his voice full of youthful optimism. Jed leaned against the porch railing, a thoughtful smile playing on his lips. "Well now, Jethro, as long as you put your heart into it and mean to do good, that is the most important thing. Whether it works or not, the effort you put into helping others is what counts the most." Granny paused in her cleaning and glanced over at the two men. "That boy is always dreaming up something. I just hope he remembers to finish his chores before he gets too lost in those gears." Ellie Mae looked up from a small raccoon that was nuzzling her hand. "He is just trying to be helpful, Granny. And goodness knows, this world can always use a little more kindness and a few more helpful hands." It was during this quiet moment that a sleek, black automobile pulled up to the driveway. A man stepped out, his suit impeccably pressed, his demeanor suggesting a man who was very accustomed to the business of the world. It was Mr. Drysdale, their banker and frequent visitor. He hurried toward the porch, looking slightly flustered, as if he had important news that could not wait. "Jed Clampett, I am glad I caught you," Mr. Drysdale said, wiping his brow. "There is a matter of great importance that requires your immediate attention. It concerns that large sum of money we discussed earlier." Jed nodded slowly, his expression remaining calm. "Mr. Drysdale, you have always been a friend to us, and I reckon we can talk about whatever is weighing on your mind." The conversation turned to the plans they had discussed previously. Mr. Drysdale explained, with a level of urgency that was perhaps a bit misplaced, the various administrative concerns that came with managing such a significant fortune. He spoke of vaults and security, of interest rates and public perception. Through it all, Jed listened with the patience of a saint. He understood that, for Mr. Drysdale, these things were of paramount importance. But for Jed, money was merely a tool, a means to ensure the well-being of his family and perhaps, in some small way, to contribute to the happiness of those around him. The notion of smog and environmental issues had been a topic of interest, and Jed had often mused on how one might address such concerns with the resources he had been blessed with. As the day progressed, the family found themselves wrapped in the simple joys of life. They shared a meal prepared by Granny, the scent of fresh herbs and home-cooked food filling the air. They talked of their time in the hills, of the people they had met, and of the lessons they had learned along the way. There was a profound sense of gratitude in their hearts, a realization that despite their newfound wealth, they remained, at their core, the same simple, honest people they had always been. Later that afternoon, they gathered in the yard. Jethro had finally managed to get his machine to hum a soft, steady rhythm. Though it did not quite do what he had initially intended, the simple fact that it functioned brought a smile to everyone's face. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, a reminder that happiness is often found in the smallest of achievements. Granny sat in her rocking chair, watching the sun begin its slow descent. "You know, Jed," she said, her voice soft and reflective, "we have been through a lot and we have seen a lot of changes. But looking at this family, I feel like we have kept our feet firmly on the ground." Jed looked at his daughter, his nephew, and then back to Granny. "You are right, Granny. No matter where we go or what we have, the most important things in life are the people we love and the values we hold dear. We try to be fair, we try to be kind, and we try to leave things a little better than we found them." The evening air grew cooler, and the stars began to twinkle in the vast sky above. It was a time for rest, for reflection, and for appreciating the simple beauty of existence. The Clampett family, in their own unique and humble way, had found a sense of peace that many spent a lifetime searching for. As they retreated into their home, the house filled with the sounds of contented laughter and shared stories. It was a sanctuary, a place of warmth and love, and they knew that as long as they had each other, they would always have everything they truly needed. The following days brought new adventures, yet the core of their life remained unchanged. They navigated the complexities of their situation with grace, always staying true to their roots. Whether they were interacting with their neighbors, attending to their business, or simply enjoying a quiet moment on the porch, they did so with an authenticity that was rare and refreshing. One afternoon, Jed found himself in the local park. He enjoyed watching the children play and the elderly folks sitting on the benches, sharing tales of their youth. He often engaged in conversation, listening more than he spoke. He found that people, regardless of their background, had so much to offer, so many stories to tell, and so many perspectives to share. He took a particular interest in the work of those dedicated to making their community better. He saw volunteers planting trees, librarians organizing reading programs, and teachers guiding young minds with patience and care. He realized that the true power of a community lay not in its wealth, but in the collective efforts of its people to care for one another. Jed often reflected on the advice he had received from his own kin back in the hills. They had taught him the value of honesty, the importance of hard work, and the necessity of keeping one's word. These lessons had served him well, and he found that they were universal, applicable in the bustling city just as much as they were in the quiet valleys of his youth. Ellie Mae, meanwhile, had found her own way to contribute. She had become an advocate for the local animal shelter, spending her time caring for the animals and helping them find loving homes. Her compassion knew no bounds, and she was always the first to offer help to any creature in need. Her kindness was infectious, and she inspired many others to join her in her efforts. Jethro continued his inventive pursuits, though his focus began to shift toward projects that had a more practical application. He studied books on engineering and design, always eager to learn more. His enthusiasm was undiminished, and he found great satisfaction in applying his newfound knowledge to solve problems that others found challenging. Granny, in her own way, became the heart of the home. She was always there with a word of wisdom, a comforting meal, or a bit of gentle guidance. She kept the family grounded, ensuring that they never lost sight of who they were or where they came from. As weeks turned into months, the family's influence continued to grow, though they never sought the spotlight. They were simply being themselves, and that, in and of itself, was enough. They had discovered that the secret to a happy life was not found in grand gestures or great wealth, but in the quiet, everyday moments of kindness and connection. They remained grateful for the opportunities they had been given, and they looked forward to the future.